Now this is hard to believe, but the following horse racing accumulators racked up a total profit of £5,515,912.14, and some of them made life-changing money from minuscule stakes. Starting with the smallest, Dave Smith, a 60-year-old from Loughborough, managed to land a horse racing accumulator with 6 selections in a row. The anticipated payout was over 200 grand, but he only managed to collect £23,000, and it wasn't because his favourite jockey had used the whip too much. Because when Dave went to cash in the eagerly anticipated £212,000 slip, he realised that he had made a mistake. A palpable error, you might say. Instead of writing down Billico, who had actually won the race, he'd written Billaraco, who had came third. He'd written down the wrong horse's name, despite the similarity in spelling, but with the right odds for Billico, who had actually won the race. Now obviously, Betfred weren't having any of this, and Dave was forced to accept a 23 grand payout, £189,000 shy of what he was expecting. But that's Betfred for you, right? Generous. But it gets better, because bet number 2 is worthy of a flying dismount for multiple reasons. You see, Frankie Dettori left viewers absolutely mesmerised in the 1996 running of Royal Ascot, where he rode all 7 winners on Queen Elizabeth II day. But it was a real shock for punter Darren Yates, being a big time fan of the Italian jockey. You see, Darren had decided to stake £67.58 on a horse racing accumulator that included all of Dettori's horses that day. This horse racing accumulator returned a humongous odds range of 25,000 to 1. But there's a personal story that makes this even better, because after a string of seconditis and a few coarse words with the missus, Yates had previously promised his wife that he wouldn't back Dettori anymore. Once he realised Frankie was on a roll that day, he conveniently slipped down the pub for a nice cold bevy with his pals, like you do. But what happened next meant that he had to come clean with the missus, because he watched Dettori hold off rivals as Fujiyama Crest crossed the finish line, recording his 7th win in one day. Yates had just spanked William Hill for a cool £550,823. Hopefully the missus let him off after he'd collected. Well played, Dave. Well played. In September 2018, an unnamed punter smashed the record for the biggest ever horse racing accumulator win in Scotland. But what makes it even better is that he broke it on his birthday with multiple lines of 5p bets. The married father of 5 staked a tiny sum at his local William Hill on 8 different horses. There are a mixture of selections with 75p 4 folds, 28 5p 6 folds, 8 5p 7 folds, and a 5p 8 horse accumulator. All combinations combined took his total stake to £5. But don't let the stakes put you off, because the horses picked were from meetings in Wales, Ireland and England, all varying in odds, with 11 to 1, 10 to 1 and 14 to 1 being some of the bigger odds that are included. Now, unbelievably, all 8 of the horses got the job done, beating William Hill for a whopping £682,282.14. I think it's safe to say there was no need for a birthday wish that day, as it had already romped home. But things get serious here, because we're about to hit the craziest horse racing accumulators that landed really big money. Now the pace increases with a sharp horse racing punter from Leicester, who understandably chose to remain anonymous after this whopper had come in. The bet consisted of 6 horses and contained 5 £3 4 folds and a £4 5-fold accumulator. The odds for the whole lot were a mind-boggling 181,015 to 1, which is almost as much value as tapping the subscribe button for future winning uploads. Now apparently this horse racing fan had been placing bets of this kind for 20 years and said that winning this bet was a realisation of a lifetime dream that had come true. He'd come close a couple of times before, but he said that he kept hitting the woodwork. He followed up with, "Now I've done it, I feel remarkably calm." Patience is a virtue, as they say, along with a healthy dash of luck. He chose 5 winning horses with big odds too, a couple of 10 to 1s, an 8 to 1 and even a huge 33 to 1 shot. He staked £19 in total on the 6 different combinations. With every horse hitting the line first, it smashed Coral Bookmaker's record for racing payouts with an eye-watering £823,000 win. Significantly less than the next bet here. Again, this lucky punter wanted to remain anonymous when they punished Paddy Power in 2013, this time with a meagre £10 stake. The punter backed 6 selections with a horse racing accumulator evenly split between Irish meetings in Naas and Galway, where he was given incredible odds just shy of 100,000 to 1. What makes this story even better, and I mean, there's not much better than getting nearly £1 million back from a £10 stake, is that all horses won within 90 minutes of racing. Not only were Paddy Power forced to pay out their biggest single horse racing payout of the decade, they had to do it just an hour and a half after the bet was placed. It must have been one of the quickest life-changing wins ever, pocketing £986,807 in the process. Now, we've seen some crazy winners here, just shy of £1 million so far, but the last 3 are next level, because on the eve of his 60th birthday, Fred Craggs became the first ever high street millionaire when his extraordinary 8-horse accumulator landed. The North Yorkshire man, who was a fertiliser salesman by trade, placed a humble sum of 50p on an accumulator that comprised of horses ranging from jumped races, all-weather races, and even as far afield as Nadal Shuba in Dubai, where he got a mammoth odds of 2 million to 1 in his local William Hill. It wasn't until the following day that Craggs had realised that his bet had actually landed. He was visiting another betting shop near to his home for his daily bet, and they told him that he had won. Can you imagine that? Quite a shock, I'm sure. Graham Sharp, a William Hill spokesman, proclaimed that it was the greatest bet ever placed since betting shops were made legal in 1961. But then he wouldn't he? It was a free advert for William Hill. 2 of the horses that backed him his money were called Isn't That Lucky and A Dream Come True, an amusing twist for the lucky Yorkshireman. And finally, to complete the circuit, the biggest win of all. This is the one that the stuff of dreams are made of. The biggest ever horse racing accumulator to land. Coming from the south coast of England, because Steve Whitley from Devon struck gold at his local racetrack when he placed a £2 bet at the Tote via a place pot permutation. I remember this one really quite well. Seeing his reaction on the racing channels was quite a humbling experience, clearly a genuine chap. A place pot is slightly different to a normal accumulator in that punters must first select 1 horse in each of the first 6 races on that day at the track. Standard accumulators require victory in every race, but a place pot enables bettors to stay in the betting pool if their horse places, which is obviously far more achievable. Now, Steve chose 6 horses with the prices ranging from 2 to 1 all the way up to 16 to 1, where his odds were quoted at 725,355 to 1. But that's not even the crazy bit, because if he'd put his bet on as a standard accumulator bet, he would have walked away with an extra £250,000. Although I'm sure he was still quite chuffed with the 1.45 million he took home that day, putting himself in horse racing history as the biggest horse racing accumulator win from small stakes. Now, if you want bigger stakes action, Cheltenham's the place, as you can see in these insane horse racing bets that smashed the bookies. Check them out, and I'll see you next time.